The Pittsburgh Steelers wrapped up another day of practice as we get ready for the preseason game number 3 against the Detroit Lions at Acrisure Stadium. The topic of conversation was the quarterback all day long. We're going to start with Mitch Trubitsky, who said right now he's working under the assumption that he is the starting quarterback heading into week 1. Do you feel that way as of right now?
Yeah, and I can completely understand why Mitch would feel that way. He started both of the preseason games. He has taken the vast majority of first-team reps in both training camp and the preseason games. Like, there's no reason why he shouldn't be, and I think he's proven time and time again that he is capable of leading that first offensive group. It seems like he has good rapport with all of his receivers and tight ends and pass catchers and all of that. There's no reason, I think, in my mind or in his mind, why he should consider anything other than the starting job.
Yeah, I think I agree. I don't know if it's a lock that he's the starter right now, but I do look at this competition and say everything that Mitch has seen and everything that the coaches have said and shown say that Mitch Trubitsky is going to be the starter in week 1. So if I'm him, I'm definitely operating under the same assumption. Next was Kenny Pickett, who talked about his growth, said that he's definitely seen the growth, but I think it was everybody else who mentioned it. Pat Freiermuth, Chase Claypool both spoke about how far he's come since he arrived at rookie minicamp. Pat identified it right down to a day. He said that it was the second week of training camp. Obviously, Kenny made a lot of headlines in that first week for struggling a little bit, but that second week he came in here, he said he was a whole new quarterback, a lot more confident. Have you seen that growth, and do you think it's enough growth that has put him in a spot to compete for the job this weekend?
Yeah, I've definitely seen the growth too. Obviously, I think Gunnar Olszewski kind of summed it up pretty well. He's a man of few words, but I think put it pretty well here, is that with rookies you expect a lot of growth. I think Kenny started, any rookie really, especially Kenny, is just starting from a completely different place than anyone who's a veteran. It's a big leap to go from college to the NFL, but to that same end, it throws you into the fire a little bit, throws you into the deep end, and it forces you to make that growth and forces you to get better and adjust to the speed of the NFL. But yeah, I have seen that from Kenny Pickett, but is it enough to push for that starting job? Certainly push for it, but I think we're talking about relative terms here. He would still have to do a lot to, I think, overcome Mitch Trubisky as the starter, like we talked about. Mitch has done perfectly well, maybe even exceeded some people's expectations in that starting role. So it would take a lot for Kenny to actually get that starting role, but like Mike Tomlin said, he's not closing the book on the quarterback competition yet, and the evaluation will come down to this last game.
Yeah, I think Detroit is going to bring all their starters. It's going to give Kenny and Mitch an opportunity, and Mason, to say, hey, all right, this is it. I got one last opportunity. I'm going to do as much as I can possibly do. I think that right now it still is an open book, but what we see on Sunday could change all of that. We could be assuming right now that this is Kenny Pickett's job to win. We could be assuming that Mitch Trubisky already has it locked and loaded. But come Sunday, we're going to see all 3 of these quarterbacks play in the final evaluation, and that's going to decide everything. So we don't know if Mitch is going to come out here and throw 2 touchdowns or if Kenny's going to come out here and lead another game-winning drive. That's yet to be determined. And then finally, Chris Oladokun cut yesterday a very talked about 7th round pick, something that I think the fan base, the media, the team, everybody is wondering what happened. Why did he not get any opportunity? Why was he drafted at all? Well, less than 24 hours since he's gone, Mike Tomlin's here leaving the door open for a possible return. Do you think he's just blowing smoke at us?
No, I don't think so, and I think this kind of lines up with, I guess, the trajectory. I mean, we were all watching, and we saw him not take any reps. We saw him kind of get pushed to the periphery while Mitch and Mason and Kenny all competed for a starting job. But this would kind of make sense, I guess, this way if he, does get pushed out, if he got cut now, and then they're just kind of waiting for him to clear waivers and then come back and have a practice squad opportunity. That would make a lot more sense than them just burning a 7th round draft pick and then letting him, just cutting him, months after without getting any real look at him. So yeah, that would make more sense. I don't assume the Steelers are stupid people, so that would make sense, and that would, I think, be a logical next step for the Steelers if they wanted to keep Chris around, if they like what they saw from him, at least during his draft process evaluation.
Yeah, I agree. I think that maybe. I think it comes down to whether or not there's 3 quarterbacks on this roster with the 53-man. If Mason's still around, and I think that's the only quarterback that we have left to talk about, is Mason Rudolph. If he does end up being traded, which I think is a very real possibility in these next couple of weeks, then you have to bring back somebody for the practice squad spot. They do carry 3 quarterbacks at all times. So it does make sense if they said, hey, we just want to make sure he's gone now. We have other guys that we want to evaluate. We don't want to get rid of them yet. He's kind of a wasted space at one point. But if Mike Tomlin says, hey, we're going to make a move and we need a third quarterback, I would say he's the first guy they're going to call for sure.